What's going on, guys, and welcome to another SN Aesthetics video. You've probably all seen the title, so just to outline what I'm going to talk about today, it's going to be the category of men's physique. As it's a new category and people don't know an awful lot about the category, I thought I'd talk about the whole category as an industry and how it fits into the industry. Also top people in the industry, you know, things like poses, what the judges look for, and you know, as it's been the kind of category that I'm going to grow into and the one that I really want to do well in, I thought I'd share stuff with everybody. So what is men's physique? So a rough outline is the idea of men's physique is kind of the attainable beach body look that you would see someone on the beach and you'd go, yeah, that's what I want to look like. Although it's been taken a little bit past that, now how people are growing into, especially Americans, they're a lot bigger than the original kind of men's physique look. It's almost becoming kind of a classic bodybuilding kind of class to the sizes they're getting to, but the idea was that physique is the attainable physique that people would want to aspire to, and you look at on the beach and you'd say, wow, yeah, that is what I want to look like. So that was the idea behind physique. As people can see and as people know now, that's gone further, as all classes do. You know, bodybuilding classes is getting huge now. The mass monsters, you know, you feel these and all that, Kai Greens are getting absolutely huge. So as with everything, the physique guys are also getting bigger. So that's where it's kind of going now. It is moving, in my opinion, more towards a classic bodybuilding look, which for me is the best overall look anyway. So that's not any problems to me. So the class itself, when I do for UKBFF, just to talk about posing a little bit, you've got your mandatory poses, which you'll see some images now while I'm talking over this. Basically you have the front pose, which is kind of a relaxed but also bringing your abs out and making your abs pop out, as well as everything else looking 3D and symmetrical. And then you've got your two side poses, so you'll go from your front, you'll go to your right side, turn, and obviously your proportions and stuff. So you'll go in there on your side, and then you'll have your back pose, and then you'll also have the other side. These are the mandatory poses for UKBFF and also the IFBB. So you may see different ones in different categories. For instance, I've been to a few NABBA shows where they've been completely different, and there's not really been a mandatory stage pose and stuff. It's been a bit of a free-for-all, but the best way in my opinion is how the IFBB do it, which is the way the UKBFF do it, so it flows into one to the other. So what is the men's physique that the judges will look for? Obviously the judges are going to be kind of, it is a standard thing that they do look for, but obviously as with bodybuilding and any other kind of class that people are going to judge, there are different opinions. So the main things they're going to look for is proportions. Obviously you need to be nice and proportioned, and the main proportion is going to be, you know, your side delts, how much they pop, and how much your lats, and also your waist. So you'll see a few pictures here, some people that I've picked out of good examples. You've got Ryan Terry here, whose obviously condition is phenomenal, but if you look at his proportions, his waist to his shoulders and his lats, they're all there. You know, in my opinion, that's one of the best overall physiques in the world for me. There's not too much size on there, but there's a good size that you would look at that and think, wow. And then obviously the condition. So the main things that they're going to, as I've just said, is the symmetry, but also being kind of a model category, they're also going to look at your overall presence, so your stage presence, and also things like even your facial hair, your actual hair. If it kind of looks out of place, you may get marked down for stuff like that. So say if you had a really long beard, you may get marked down for something like that. So is the overall package. Obviously with the men's physique they wear the board shorts, they don't wear they don't wear trunks, you know, and in my opinion that probably will change in a few years to the kind of short trunks which the WBFF muscle model categories kind of follow, which to me would be a good move for them, because you know it is about the full physique, so it's going to be about your legs as well. So yeah, that's kind of, the judges are also going to look for condition. So you're going to be looking at running probably in the region of about 3% body fat, in a contrary to the bodybuilders who, you know, run 0 to 1%, which may not sound a massive difference in terms of percentages, but I can tell you in terms of how that is going to look on stage, that is a massive difference between 1% or 3 or 4%. That's a huge difference in kind of vascularity and how dry and stuff you're going to look. So the judges aren't necessarily going to want crazy vascular veins popping out here, there and everywhere. and crazy dryness, but you are obviously going to need some vascularity and some dryness. Also, you're going to have some nice abs and obliques. So that's kind of trying to give you an overview of what the judges will look for. As I said, it's all about being nice and aesthetic is the word, aesthetically pleasing to the eye. So the few I've showed you, I'll show you back again now so you can see, and you can see the shoulders nice and rounded, and it's really good proportions to the waist. The waist sizes, the top pros, they're running between 24-26 inch waist, which for a male is pretty insane. So that gives you kind of a rough overview of what they look for physique. Obviously it's going to be different for different judges, but that is the baseline of what they will look for. So there is some negative views against men's physique. It's something that I don't like, being part of the men's physique category, and obviously people will have different views, but I feel it should be kind of cut out of the industry as much as possible. You get some bodybuilders that say men's physique isn't a proper bodybuilding class, they're not revealing their legs and all this kind of stuff, which to a certain extent I do agree with. Legs should be brought into play, and I think they will be brought into play. But when I hear people say that, men's physique, you don't have to train as hard, or you don't have to diet down as hard, or all this kind of negative views towards the physique, I think that is rubbish. Men's physique will diet just as hard, men's physique will put in just as much effort. I've listened to some podcasts where top IFBB pros have, who have been sponsored by companies who've also got men's physique sponsored by the same company, have said that the people they work with in terms of men's physique pros, they work just as hard, if not harder, than the bodybuilders themselves. So that's kind of an area which I think needs to be, there's nothing you're going to do. People are always going to have opinions, but I think the negativity when people are still trying to strive to be excellent, to get up on that stage, it's not really needed. The men's physique category is good in my opinion because of, if you want to be a top bodybuilder, you take it back to Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman, or they were bodybuilding right from the ages, 12, 13, so it's early teens. So they're building that foundation from that early level. So by the time they've hit kind of 18, they're in national level competitor, top national level competitors. So if you haven't started that journey at kind of 12, 13, you start like me. I was 20 when I started bodybuilding and looking into seriously getting on that stage. I'm already 8 years behind kind of the pros at that level. They're already, looking at getting their pro cards at early 20s, whereas I'm only just starting my journey. So for me to be able to get that kind of mass and that kind of precedence on stage is going to take me years, by the time of which, I'm going to be into my 30s, and by the time you get your pro card, are you really going to want to compete when you're mid-30s? It's kind of where you want to be winding a little bit down and thinking of other areas, not getting into the pro ranks and then being at the bottom of the pro ranks as well. So a men's physique, you can look at your physique, and as long as you have got good genetics, in the sense of you've got a nice waist, you've got nice ratios, you could be a pro in 3-4 years time if you worked hard enough, which is what my goal is. Starting at 20, I'd like to be pro by the time I'm 24, and that's a realistic goal. Whereas if I wanted to be a bodybuilder pro, I think that you're going to be looking at least 10-15 years before you even get your pro card. So that's another area I think physique is also promising, and also offers different people a different way of getting into the industry that don't want to or can't carry that kind of mass in that sort of time scale. Obviously some people's frames aren't going to let them carry that kind of mass. Myself being 5'7", I could carry a bit more, I would carry more mass, because I'm quite stocky naturally, but I don't think I'd ever be able to get up to the 250 pound mark plus what the open class bodybuilders are at the pro level. So that's another area I think that men's physique brings in people that can't get to that kind of level, hold that kind of weight, because your body just won't allow it. So that's another area I think is really good. Okay, so just going back to some few pros, I'm going to show you guys the different types of physique and the different kind of proportions and thickness and stuff that you can get. So as I've already shown Ryan Terry, I will speak about some other guys that I think are the best in the industry and that also show different kind of physiques. So the next one is Jeremy. Obviously anyone that knows anything about physique, Jeremy is the top guy. He's the one that won the first men's Olympia physique, which was last year. But as you can see, he's got a crazy waistline, crazy waist to lap to shoulder ratio. His condition's absolutely insane, and his back is on a different level of kind of muscularity. And this is what I mean by the difference in size. Obviously you've got Ryan Terry, who's a massively conditioned guy. He's obviously got some good size, but then you look at Jeremy, he's got a different kind of size to Ryan. Although his condition isn't anywhere close to Ryan's, his size is kind of, I'd say probably twice as, maybe not twice, but a fair bit bigger than Ryan. So obviously this year's Olympia is going to be an interesting thing to see what happens there. Another guy that I'm quite fond of and also that is big in the industry is Physique. Physique's a lot taller than your typical kind of men's physique. Men's physique, ones that seem to do well around the kind of 5'7" to 5'9", 10 kind of heights. Obviously there are exceptions, Physique being one, but he is a very, very well proportioned guy. If you look at his waistline compared to his lats, it's absolutely insane. Physique very much reminds me of kind of the Frank Zane look, which I said I absolutely love, so I'm a big fan of Physique, and he's recently won the Arnold men's physique, so he's obviously going to be up there this year. And then you've got another guy, Steve Cook, who I'm massively fond of. Steve Cook is very well known in this industry. He's got a very, very desirable physique in terms of full look. You know, he's got the look for it as well as the well proportioned big size kind of shape. His waistline isn't as small as the other guys, which sometimes may push him back some spots, but obviously he's got one of the best overall looks in terms of he fits into that category of the fitness model. His face is something that, you know, you could see on multiple billboards for all sorts of different companies, and this is why Steve obviously does well. He's got a crazy physique as well as the overall package. So there's some guys kind of that I would say are big in the industry, and that people looked up to and kind of aspire to. There are many, many others. But it's just a few without going on too much. It's kind of just trying to show you guys the kind of the shoulders to the lats to the waist kind of ratio. So it's that overall package that they'll look for. Obviously you do going to see your calves, so obviously people do need some good calves, but there are a lot of underdeveloped calves. As people know, calves are a bit of a bitch to train, but that's not really an excuse. So that's one thing obviously that is lacking in the industry, is that, you know, you're not going to see the legs, but you do see your calves. So in terms of moving forward, I think that they will bring the shorts up to kind of the trunk level, you know, the muscle model level, which will be good in my opinion. A lot of the physique guys train, well, most of the physique guys train very hard legs. I know myself, I train hard legs, because I think we're all thinking the same thing. In a few years they are going to roll them shorts up, and obviously if you've not got legs, you're going to be very good amount of years behind if you haven't been training your legs. So that's one maybe for moving forward. So just to finish off then, I just want to show you a few comparisons as to you know, men's physique compared to bodybuilding. So I'm going to show you a few images just side by side of a few top bodybuilders and then obviously a few top physiques. So what you'll see is the difference in kind of condition, the difference in the proportions. You know, obviously the bodybuilders are going to be carrying a lot more size and mass on each different muscle group, but obviously the theory is the same. The waist is going to be tiny, as small as you can possibly get it, and you're trying to achieve that the V taper look, and then obviously the X shape for the bodybuilders, and to a certain degree the physiques will be needing to get that. So here's a picture here, you can see just a comparison, so you can see the different styles in condition. You'll see obviously the bodybuilder, as I said, is going to be looking like kind of 1%, as opposed to the physique who's going to be, you know, 3-4%, and that is the difference, you know, of being that couple of percentage difference in body fat, and obviously the dryness in terms of water, and all that kind of effective depletion. So that's kind of the difference in, if you put them side by side. The idea is still the same, to make everything look in proportion and everything look pleasing and nice to the eye. That was just kind of a brief outline. I just wanted to do, a lot of people don't understand the class of physique, what people look for. It's still very new. as I said, the first Olympia last year with men's physique in, so it's obviously very new and only just been introduced into the world. But I think moving forward, I think it's going to become a lot more positive to the industry. It makes people believe a lot more that you can attain that physique and get up on that stage. On the contrary to that, the reason I think men's physique gets a downgrade in kind of the name and precedence compared to bodybuilding is that people just kind of seem to jump on stage now with, just because they've got a few abs, they think it's acceptable, and that they think they can get up on stage with just because they've got a set of abs, which obviously, as you can see from the pictures I've just shown you of the top guys, isn't true. But I think that's where people disagree with the physique category, because it allows people like that to kind of jump up on stage. My opinion myself, I kind of agree with that, but then also you need to get on the stage for the first time to see whether it's actually worth your time and whether you feel comfortable on the stage to then obviously put more muscle in, put more effort in. But ultimately you should know that before, because getting on stage is kind of the easy bit. It's the preparation, the time, the effort, that goes into obtaining that physique and making that physique that should be the hard bit, and also the stage should be the enjoyable bit. You may not be up there for very long, but that's your hard work, that's your year's worth of hard work, your 16-20 week diet for that moment on that stage. So that should be the end of it, the finish, that should be what you really look forward to. So that's been the end of this video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and it kind of highlights, if you didn't really know the physique industry very well, it kind of highlights what they look for. Maybe it kind of tweaks a few people's lights and think that they maybe want to go into that industry. If that's the case and you do have any more questions, just give me a shout. I'll be more than happy to answer them as best as I can. But yeah, so that wraps up another video. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.